Howdy folks, Capt Wayne Davis here at Port Mansfield. I'm here with my good buddy Capt Ernest Cisneros and his son Aaron Cisneros. It's winter time. We're getting a late start a little bit, and we're heading out for a good day of fun fishing. Ernest?
You know, it's like you said, it's the winter time, and a lot of anglers now at this time of the year want to go and target big trout. And looking at the variables, you know, that you want to put everything on your side. As we look at the moon phase, we can see that the moon is you know, setting, and so that's very important. And because the moon has an effect on the fish, and that it affects their feeding pattern, affects the tidal movement as well.
Yeah. Aaron, it's not necessarily get out there early, is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a little cooler today than usual. We are in December and coming to the end of it, and we've noticed the water temperature is a little cold. It's 62 degrees here in Port, and I'd like to say I usually start my days on a cool day like this a little later, and I presume the bite would be a little later, not so early. But you never know. You do want to get out there and give it a try, and you just really never know what could happen.
You know, you just said big trout. It's winter time. A lot of anglers have big trout on the menu, not literally on the menu, but in their minds. And if that's what you're targeting, and it's winter time, you talked about getting a later start, you got to prepare to put in the time. And it may take from sun up to sundown, or getting a little later start and fishing until the sun goes down, to try to have at least a better chance of catching that big fish.
Especially these days. I mean, we're almost a year off the freeze that killed a lot of trout. So we are having to work a little bit harder to find those isolated pockets of good quality trout. They're not widespread like they used to be. I mean, we're having to dial in more effort to find those fish, and then once you find them, you better stay with them and try to catch a good one out of them.
And it also brings, you know, being that it's a little tougher and just wintertime in general, you got to be a little bit more patient. You may have to stick in an area a little bit longer, work it a little slower to bring in, you know, the good results.
Yeah, and you mentioned the moon phase. See it up there? We got a little bit of driving time, and which is going to work out perfect, because as that moon drops, we're going to enter into that minor feeding period, and we're going to be in the right place, hopefully at the right time.
And last, I'd like to close it that you know, keep an eye on the weather is important, and so you never know when that wind's going to kick up. You know, we've all gotten caught out there where it gets colder than we usually thought, or windier than we usually thought it was going to be. And so layering up, make sure that you layer up, wear the proper clothing, but the clothing has to be comfortable for you, because you're going to be out there all day grinding. Okay, so prepare for the weather.
You can always shed a layer or two.
Exactly.
Yep. So wish us luck, and we'll hopefully put something together for everybody.
I know the last time we got together as three, someone caught a big trout. We won't tell you who. You can just think about it. Was it Wayne, Aaron, or myself? We'll see today as well. See who is the king tut today. All right, we're fixing to get out here on a flat. We got some really nice potholes. There's some grass beds, and what we saw a little while ago was some mullet jumping, and that's the key. This time of the year, wherever that bait is available, more than likely those fish are going to be there, because remember, we get frequent cold fronts, and these fish need to take advantage of that small window where they can feed heavily, and that way they'll go dormant during that colder period, and then go back out and feed and do it over again. The water is cold. It's 60 degrees. We're going to get out here on this flat, and again, we're going to work it slow. It's still, you know, we're still early in the day, but as the day goes on, that sun's going to warm up that water, and those fish will be a little bit more active. So working it slow, working potholes, looking for that bait. And this time of the year, the birds, where they're located, are very important, because the birds know where the bait is, and where the bait is, more than likely the game fish are going to be that we're after.
Got me here a nice stud redfish. Cut him on the new K Wiggler Wiggalo. Got Laguna Flodge, one of my favorite colors. beautiful fish. He's healthy too. Well, it's a pretty cool water temperature, and I'm working my bait a little slow, and my walking as well a little slow. And I'm keeping my head on a swivel. I'm seeing bait fish kind of flicker around, jump around, and that's kind of my target. I want to hit almost any little bait fish that I see acting kind of nervous, because the water temperature is kind of cool. So I figured that predator fish would be kind of near a bait fish like that in a situation like today. Missed it. I threw it right back in there, and he hit it right back in the same spot.
That's got a good hit.
So we're out here fishing an area where we figured there'd be a big trout hanging out. My walking speed's a little slow because I have gotten in an area where I've caught some big trout and what I would consider a sweet spot. So my walking speed's slow. I may zigzag in and out because in this area I'm coming to a depth change. It's shallow behind me. It starts to get a little deeper right where I'm standing. So I'd figure a big one would be laying right in these little potholes. So my speed is slow, I'm walking zigzags, and I'm really keying on bait fish and potholes. And with it being cold, a big sand pocket will hold some good warm water for a big fish. And that would be ideal for me to aim at. So if you get in an area where you know there's some big fish hanging out, or you've caught some big fish, really key on working slow, get that bait into every pothole that you can kind of find.
Just like Aaron said, he hit a spot, Aaron hooked up a couple of fish, and everybody has slowed down, and the fish are becoming more active.
Despite the cooler water temperatures, man, this red engulfed that wiggler in Mansfield Margarita.
This is like my third fish within 10 steps. I'm getting to an area where I know that there's some fish. So I know there's fish here, so I'm working my speed slow, really dissecting the spot. Beautiful red. I'm getting hits, and if they miss it, I'm putting that lure right back in that same spot. And I'm reeling in real fast once they miss it, and I'm putting it right back. It's cold, so they're sluggish. They're not moving too fast. You can get right back to it. See that redfish? We're looking for trout, but the redfish sure are here. But that does not discourage me. Plenty of times I've gotten to big redfish like that, and here comes that big trout behind them. So we're gonna keep on chunking.
We're out here, we've made a couple of moves. Actually, this is our second move. And we're fishing potholes. We have to target these potholes. And I got a big old redfish on. I thought it was a big trout. We saw some really, really nice trout. And I saw the wake of this fish. So I saw it come over a grass bed and then just went away. And I knew it just sat inside one of these potholes. So I just chunked over there into the pothole. Saw the wake come back up again. And he hit it. These fish aren't exactly the longest right now, but they are the heaviest because our water temperatures got down to 56 yesterday. Now we're up to about 62, 63. And they had eaten when it got real, real cold. And I can tell you, it's gonna... Ain't that the truth there, that Wiggle-O? He just smoked it. And we've got us a big old heavy redfish, probably not oversized, but it's gonna go just at 10 pounds. 10 pounds right there, close to being slot. No wonder it took me a long time to get it in. All right, as you can see, when we first started out fishing today, we were just a little bit above the ankle. Now we're down to about knee deep. Coupled with that is the moon. As you can see, it is setting. It's getting real low. We're fishing natural baits. We're in clear water, and we've come off this little shelf, just as you've noticed now, a little bit above the kneecap. And we're just catching these monster redfish like this. I mean, just ridiculous. Captain Aaron's hooked up several times. We've lost a lot of fish. We're looking for fish, but looking for trout, but rather just to point out, moon setting. We came off of a little lip. The bait's gotten real active, and we're catching just big old fish like this redfish right here. We're gonna let go. Catching them on natural baits. This is the truth Wiggle-O. It looks real good. Swimming through the water. Captain Aaron's throwing the Laguna Flage. I've got smoke and mirrors tied on, and that's kind of our arsenal for today because we're going to have light winds and clear water. So when you find yourself in that scenario, capitalize on all what I've just described. Thanks. I was walking back to the boat and I found a pothole. I said, I just can't pass up this pothole. Sure enough, just a real nice, maybe 3-pound trout. Good to go. Sitting on the bottom in a pothole I just caught a trout out of. I was reaching for my power pole remote. He tore up that bad boy. This is about my... Aaron's on now too. Anyway, it's a wrap. About 9 fish. That's all I can do.